Hi everyone, how's it going? Um, I've got my little spotlight on here. Hang on, you know, I got that on because I like to feel glamorous when I'm not well. So I went out walking today. Um, I went out to Tesco, which is like 2 minutes down the road from me, and I went to the co-op. And as always, every time I go out, when I first start going out, I get these heart palpitations and I get these sharp pains in my chest. And truth be told, if I'm honest with you guys, this has been going on for a really long time. It's not just like now, but it's getting worse. And I do get tortured in my sleep, but the torture in my sleep has died down. But the chest pains and the stuff every time I go out has gone up. And even for somebody of my age and my diet, for me to be, having bad chest pains like that going out, it's not good. Um, it occurred to me that this could be a chest infection because the electronic weapons, they do cause chest infections. It could be a chest infection. It doesn't necessarily have to be a heart problem. But the reason why I think it might be a heart problem is because I get pain in my upper arm here quite frequently. Um, that might be to do with the weapons being fired deliberately on that arm, or it could be down to weapons fired at the heart. It could be to do with literally anything. It doesn't have to, like, this is the problem with electronic weaponry. They can mimic certain illnesses so that you go down to the doctor, and when the doctor actually examines you, the results don't sync up with the symptoms that you're actually feeling. So this has been happening for some time now. This is not like a new development. Um, the weird thing is that I'm not actually worried. Um, I actually feel emotionally, I don't feel relaxed per se, but emotionally, I just feel like I don't really have anything to worry about because it just feels like it just feels like everything's been decided and everything's been wrapped up. So it just feels like I don't really have anything to worry about at this point. I could be very, very sick. It could be chest infection. It could be a heart issue. It could literally be anything at this point. But I have confidence that whatever decision is made about my health, if it's not the right choice that's made by human beings, the spirit will make the right choice for me. So I'm very, very confident in that. And, you know, taking a rest. But I have to admit, it's not good that I have to admit, it's really not good that I got up at like 12:30 or something this afternoon, and I'm in bed. What time is it now? It's 5:15. So I've only been out of my bed for 5 hours, and I've only walked down the road for like 10 minutes at most, and I'm in bed already with chest pain. That's really not good. So I acknowledge that it's not good, and I acknowledge that um that's really not a good thing, especially seeing as I'm actually very strong physically. And I don't mean in terms of like fighting abilities or what have you, but like I'm very resilient naturally. So for me to be in bed after 5 hours, it's not good at all. It's really, really not good. So I don't know what's going on. I'm getting weapons fired at my solar plexus. Yeah, I'm getting weapons fired at my chest, at my heart, and I get pain in my left arm, which makes me think that I do have a heart issue. But again, I'm not entirely sure because it could just as easily be a chest infection. The only thing I know is that when I was coming from Black Brighton Market, that's when the electronic weaponry was really cranked up when I had to walk from the Actors Pub to the bus stop, which isn't far. I just want to remind you, like, to the Actors Pub where I had to do my Black Brighton Market store, to the fucking bus stop, which was not far at all. I was out here having heart palpitations. Now, I had heavy bags with me, that's true, but I'm the type of person, right? I can manage that distance with heavy bags. It's absolutely no problem. So for me to be struggling to walk 5 minutes to a bus stop, and I had to sit down. Like at one point, I had to sit down because the chest pains that I was going through was so fucking heavy. I had to literally sit down. Do you understand what I mean? So this is why I was talking all that stuff about, oh, I might be dying soon, or I might be dying, because the thing is, they're really cranking up the torture. And the thing is, I'm not the only one this is being done to either. It just feels like it's coming to the end of the energetic year. It's coming to a holiday. It's coming to spring equinox next week. And as you guys know, the most powerful people on the planet in particular, they observe these things. So it seems like they're trying to get as many sacrifices as possible out of the way before the next holiday comes. It seems like they're doing that. It does seem like they're doing that, like from an occult perspective. Because I noticed that things like this are always worse, like in like February or March. They always tend to be really bad. If targets are not being beset with really bad psychosis problems or mental health problems, then they're being beset with really bad physical problems, which really puts in mind that a lot of TIs are probably being sacrificed right now, or there's the attempt to sacrifice us, and not even just us, but other people, within our societies that are probably being sacrificed in time for the new energetic year or the new astrological year. So it could be that. I know it sounds really far-fetched and ridiculous, but you have to remember that a lot of powerful people are very well connected within this, within this type of thing. They know all about astrology. They know all about, numerology and stuff like that. So it could be that our sacrifices, or, if we are dying, that it's falling right into line with ritualism. That could be a possibility. It could be a possibility because, again, like I noticed that when it's like in the dead of winter or when it's February, March, that this type of stuff tends to be really, really bad. I do notice that. So it could be that. It could be that. It could be, it could be that, because the targeted community is growing and more of us are filing lawsuits with regards to the torture that we've been subjected to. There have been so many targeted individuals that have, filed lawsuits and reached out to the United Nations in a bid to stop cyber torture and electronic torture, and in a bid to stop this unlawful experimentation with directed energy weapons. There have been so many targeted individuals that have actually done that. And it feels like because of that, that could be another reason why the torture is increasing, because of the increasing lawsuits. So yeah, it does feel desperate on the part of the gang stalkers, I can't lie. But what I do know is that for me, somebody as strong as me to, and I'm not even that big. Like it would be one thing if I was like, I'm big, don't get me wrong, I'm obese, right? Technically speaking. But there are people twice my size that don't have my health problems. There are people twice my size who don't have any problems walking 2 minutes down the street without chest pain. It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. How am I going to go out the road for 5 fucking minutes and then I'm already in bed laid up and I ain't even been out of bed 6 hours yet? That's not good. That's not good. So again, to summarize, the two reasons why things like this could be happening to other TIs is because the first reason is that it could be ritualistic. Like I said before, the spring equinox is coming up. So it could be ritualistic. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the targeted individual community is getting stronger. We're starting to figure things out. We're starting to compile lawsuits and things like that. And more people are being recognized for being targeted individuals. There was one pharmaceutical expert. I think they were a pharmacist. No, not a pharmaceutical expert. This person was a pharmacist, right? And they were sectioned on the grounds that Havana syndrome wasn't real. But after they demonstrated the proof that Havana syndrome was real, one person within the UK government, or at least one UK citizen, had their Havana syndrome acknowledged. So Havana syndrome is actually being acknowledged on top of that. So that could be another reason why whatever companies are firing weapons at us are in a rush to kill as many of us as possible without it looking suspicious. So that's the second reason. The second reason is that Havana syndrome is increasingly recognized, and they want to get as rid of many of us as possible before people start to wise up. So that could be another reason why we're all suffering with this. But again, for me to walk down 5 minutes, like, and then be laid up in bed, like, babe, that is not good. That's really not good. And usually I'd be the kind of person to swallow my pride and just not admit when I'm physically going through something. Because it's bad enough to go through the emotional shit. It's bad enough to go through the smear campaigns and, and all that type of nonsense. But physically, I haven't been doing well for a long time. This isn't even the first time that weapons have been fired at my chest. It's just that I'm getting older. And the older that I get is that the more that this pain being launched at my chest and launched at, different parts of my body, the older I get, it's not even just the more susceptible I become. It's actually the worse the torture is, because I know of quite a few elderly TIs who are just being fucking bombarded constantly. Do you understand what I mean? The older you get, the more pain that you actually go through as a TI, not less. Because they're trying to finish you off and they're trying to make it look as natural as they can. So I'm getting older, which means that the electronic torture is definitely getting worse. And then on top of that, they're at a loss at what to do, because I don't give a shit whether my perps like me or not, or what kind of mind games they're playing, or like, I don't care about what they do, because, they're already in a pathological genocide program. So it really doesn't matter. Their opinions don't matter, and the opinions of their flying monkeys don't matter either. So they're at a loss of what to do. So I think physical torture was really the only thing that was left. But even then, I've already made peace with it. So there's nothing left to say, really. But I'm just letting you guys know, just in case something happens to me. And I know a lot of TIs have been doing the same thing because of how bad the torture's been. So I am one TI of many, saying to any of you, if I have died from heart attack, stroke, cancer, COVID, anything like that, if I have died from anything like that, please understand that those were synthesized and those were caused by the directed energy weapons that were being fired at me. Please understand that if any of this happens to me, I was murdered. And it's the same thing if it comes to it, that I promised that I wouldn't commit suicide, and I'm not going to, because I promised somebody that I love that I wouldn't. So I stand by that and I maintain that. But even if I would have died by suicide, it would have still been murder, because the psychological campaign on top of the electronic torture would have contributed to that suicide. So regardless of how I die, regardless, I want everyone to know right here and now, if and when I die, I was murdered by this program. And I was murdered by the people involved in this program. Okay? And I want you all to know that right here and now. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna rest up, watch a film. I'm gonna enjoy myself as much as I can, sick as I am. You know, I'm gonna do my thing. You know, I love you guys. Peace and blessings. Bye bye.